the edge of the solar system, there was actually one burning, a wall of fire with a temperature of up to 50,000 degrees. You heard it right, 50,000 degrees. The terrifying temperature is more than 10 times hotter than the surface of the sun. It is enough to instantly vaporize any substance. But he just quietly guarded the gate of the solar system, and our human probes actually passed through him twice. It was still unscathed. The story starts in 2012. That year, except that the end of the world prophesied by the Mayans did not come. Voyager, no, won, but it really went through a test of life and death. This antique has been floating in space for 35 years. Suddenly sent back a set of weird data to Earth. The surrounding temperature instantly soared to 50,000 degrees Celsius. NASA engineers panicked on the spot. I thought to myself, is this old guy going to explain here? As a result, something even weirder happened. Voyager 1 was not only not burned to ashes, not even a piece of paint came off, just passed through it as if nothing had happened. Data continues to be sent back. 6 years later, in November 2018, Voyager 2 also arrived at the same location. Then the exact same outrageous data was sent back. Now the scientists couldn't sit still. A detector encountered something strange. It can be said that it is luck. Both have encountered. That's the law. This speaks to the edge of the solar system. There is indeed an invisible wall of fire. But there is a question here that is puzzling. 50,000 degrees, not to mention metal. Even if a diamond is thrown in, it must evaporate instantly. The broken iron shell of the Voyager, why can it be unscathed? Could it be that the laws of physics fail at the edge of the universe? The answer reveals a majority of people. Cold knowledge that you don't know. Heat in space. It is not the same thing as heat on Earth. On Earth, you say the water temperature is 100 degrees. That's really hot and bubbly. But in space, the concept of temperature has completely changed the taste. 50,000 degrees here. It refers to how fast the particles move, not how much heat they can transfer. For example, suppose you encounter a drop of boiling water at 100 degrees in space. In theory, it is really hot. But the problem is that this is only a drop of water. Such a little water can't burn you at all. And in the area where this wall of fire is located, in every cubic centimeter of space, there are only a few atoms. Density is greater than the most awesome laboratory vacuum on Earth. It is 10,000 times lower. Although these atoms run fast, the measured temperature exploded. But there are too few of them. It doesn't transfer much heat at all. Voyager crosses this wall of fire. It's like a few grains of sand that run particularly fast. Heat. It does not pose a threat at all. So how did this wall of fire come about? It's quite romantic to say. The sun is actually a super big fan, constantly spraying charged particles outward. This is the solar wind. The solar wind has a big temper. It can run hundreds of kilometers per second, running tens of billions of kilometers along the way. Born in the universe, a huge bubble was blown out. This bubble is called the heliosphere. The entire solar system is enclosed in it. And where the wall of fire is, it is the surface of this bubble. The scientific name is Heliosphere Straticus. Over here, the solar wind meets its nemesis interstellar matter. You can imagine. The solar wind rushed out menacingly. Ouchium! It crashed into interstellar matter floating everywhere in the galaxy. As soon as the two met, immediately put on the bar. The solar wind pushes desperately outward. Interstellar matter squeezed in. The two forces are fiercely confronting each other on the border. It's like a tug of war. What happens in such a violent collision? The particles are compressed. Speed skyrocketed. Temperatures skyrocketed. Just like that, he hit suddenly a wall of fire with a temperature of up to 50,000 degrees. To put it bluntly, this wall of fire it is the solar system and the galaxy fighting, the byproduct of the punch. What's even more interesting is, this protective bubble looks irregular at all. You think the boundaries of the solar system, it should be a round ball. Too young, too simple. Since the sun is not honest in the Milky Way, he was running at 220 kilometers per second. This is equivalent to running nearly 800,000 kilometers in an hour. Run like this. The front bubble is squashed. Only about 100 astronomical units, but more than 500 astronomical units can be dragged out in the back. As long tail, the whole look like a giant comet speeding through the universe. But the discovery that really hurts scientists' brains still to come. When Voyager 1 crosses the wall of fire, he detected an incredible phenomenon. The direction of the interstellar magnetic field outside the wall of fire. It is actually parallel to the direction of the magnetic field inside the solar system. This is like the Wi-Fi signal of your house and Lao Wang's house next door. It stands to reason that it should be in its own direction. It's a mess. As a result, the direction of the signal was actually the same. Scientists were dumbfounded at the time. They had predicted solar magnetic field and interstellar magnetic field. It should be in a completely different direction, just like the North and South poles meet. But reality slapped everyone in the face. At the beginning, everyone thought this was the special route of Traveler No. 1. It just so happened to meet. Results 2018. Voyager passed through from a completely different direction. The measured data is exactly the same as Voyager 1. Now you can't deceive yourself. This is the truth, not a coincidence. This discovery completely turned existing textbooks upside down. Originally, the boundaries of the solar system are not a clear line at all. Instead, it is a chaotic and complex transition zone. The most reliable explanation at present is magnetic reconnection phenomenon occurred. Simply put, it is the solar wind dragged its magnetic field line to the end. The boundary is broken and reorganized with the interstellar magnetic field lines. It's a bit like DNA recombination. This process not only creates the high temperature of the firewall, it also makes the direction of the magnetic field less easy to change. How much does this wall of fire mean to the Earth? Let's put it this way. Without him, you can't see this video at all right now, because there are no living things on the Earth for a long time. The heliosphere is like the Earth's cosmic body armor. It can block more than 70% of interstellar cosmic rays. High-energy cosmic rays are floating everywhere in the galaxy. These things are extremely penetrating. Not only can it shoot through metal plates several centimeters thick, it can also directly destroy DNA molecules, causes genetic mutations, even cell death. If there is no heliospheric layer protection, these cosmic rays will bomb the Earth in a straight line, not to mention humans. I'm afraid even the most tenacious water bear can't survive. Radiation levels on the Earth's surface, it will soar several times what it is now. Life cannot exist at all. From this perspective, we can sit here very well. It is all thanks to the sun that holds up this umbrella for us. But there is a desperate fact here. Although the Voyager has already passed through the wall of fire, entered interstellar space, but he hasn't really flown out of the solar system yet. It sounds paradoxical. Yes, but the reality is that complicated. If according to the range of the sun's gravity, to define the boundaries of the solar system, the real boundary should be the Oort cloud. This is a huge cloud of frozen comets. The radius is more than 1 light year. At the speed of Voyager 117 kilometers per second, it will have to fly for almost 20,000 more years. Only then can we pass through the outer cloud. Even more desperate, to reach the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, it flew for 73,000 years. But the cruelest reality is, we may not be able to wait for that day. The nuclear battery on board the Voyager is positive, in gradual exhaustion. From 2020, he began to shut down the scientific instruments he carried to save power. Eventually, he will completely lose contact with the Earth, continue drifting alone in the depths of the universe. But humans can no longer receive his signals. The gilded record carried by Voyager is not an ordinary thing. He underwent special treatment, enough to withstand the erosion of 1 billion years of time. The sound music of the Earth is burned on it. Greetings in 55 human languages. There are also 115 photos. Even in the distant future, when a human civilization ceased to exist, the record will still drift in the galaxy, waiting for the discovery of an alien civilization. He will tell them then, there used to be a planet called Earth. There lived a group of creatures called humans on it. They looked up at the stars, desired to communicate with the universe. This discovery also leads to a more profound thought. If the solar system had such a protective barrier, then hundreds of billions of other stars in the Milky Way, is there a similar wall of fire? The answer is likely to be 8 or 9. This means, in space, there may be countless such protective bubbles. Each are all silently guarding the planetary world within. From this perspective, every star system is like an island in the ocean, surrounded by its own wall of fire, drift alone in the vast oceans of the Milky Way. But this also gives future interstellar travel. It brings new challenges. Whenever we enter a new star system, must cross a similar high-temperature barrier. For stars that are larger and hotter than the Sun, their walls of fire may be thicker and more violent. The probe may have lost contact even before it arrived. This requires us to develop more powerful protection technologies, design more durable ships. What is even more frightening is that it is thought about. The size and shape of the heliosphere are not 10%. It doesn't change. It changes with the movement of the Sun in the Milky Way. Even on timescales of millions of years, Earth may be temporarily exposed to the interstellar environment. Scientists speculate, about 3 million years ago, the Earth may have experienced such a period of streaking. At that time, the heliosphere shrank very small. The Earth is exposed almost directly to interstellar radiation. These may have affected climate change at the time, and biological evolution. It may even have facilitated the birth of human ancestors. Right now, Voyager 1 is already more than 24 billion kilometers away from Earth. It is heading deeper into interstellar space. Although its signal is getting weaker and weaker, it takes more than 20 hours to return to Earth. But every packet is priceless. These data, it is helping scientists rediscover the solar system. The thickness of the original heliosphere top, it is not the same in different positions. It follows the solar cycle, expand and contract like a lung. This explains why are the two detectors at slightly different distances. Boundaries were encountered. NASA now, a new interstellar probe project is being developed. For example, interstellar mapping and acceleration probes. It will further study Voyager's findings. Future detectors will come with more advanced instruments. Go and explore the deeper secrets of this wall of fire. Engineers now have to consider more factors. The plasma heats the magnetic field and the turbulent particles accelerate. Every technological breakthrough will promote humanity one step towards a true intergalactic civilization. But perhaps the most important finding is, we are not alone. The Earth is not alone floating in the cold. in the dark universe. Instead, it was gently surrounded by an invisible wall of fire. This wall is both protection and boundary. It reminds us that the Earth is special, life is fragile, and the solar system is like a warm harbor in the vastness. The universe shelters us from the wind and rain, two small detectors. After almost half a century of travel, with your own personal experience, it tells us a truth. The universe is far more wonderful and complex than we think. Every new discovery reminds us, we still know too little, too little. And this is precisely where science is most fascinating. Just when you think you're about to reach the end, it is often found that it is just the beginning of a new journey.